It is our sacred responsibility. Each and every one of us has the responsibility to care for the earth. And I wanted to share this first slide with you and actually read what it says here. The whole of planet Earth is a sacred site. All people are the chosen people, and the purpose of our lives is a spiritual one. May we care for each other and for the earth, for everything relates to everything else. Feeling this oneness, may we radiate the light of love and kindness that all may live in unity and peace. It is our sacred responsibility to love, to be kind, to be generous, to be protective, to be peaceful, to be nurturing, to know that, as Art had indicated before, we are divine expressions. And guess what? So is every single plant, animal, atom, everything on this earth is a divine expression. And again, as Judith indicated, and we as human beings, as we as spiritual beings in this human experience have dominion over those things that are not as evolved in consciousness as we are. So it is our sacred responsibility to care for the creatures great and small, whether it's the turtles, the lakes, the trees, the animals of any kind, the prairie, the forest, the floor of the forest, whatever it is our responsibility to not damage it, to love it. I was so pleased when I drove up yesterday afternoon to your lovely campus to see that clearly someone had been working in the gardens. I saw the freshness, and that really just made my heart sing. And so after that drive, very windy drive from Overland Park, to see the beautiful flowers that had been tended to was just so refreshing. And then after that, I noticed that you have a labyrinth in the parking lot, so I just went over to the labyrinth and did a walking meditation. It was so perfect, so perfect. And so affirming that indeed caring for the earth is our sacred responsibility. This is one of my favorite places to go, the Overland Park Arboretum and Botanical Gardens. And the volunteers there always care so wonderfully for the beauty of that Arboretum and Botanical Gardens. And it reminds me every day that I go, and I go very often, that we truly are caretakers of everything. We have a sacred responsibility to protect and to respect our earth. When we honor Mother Earth, we honor ourselves. And when we dishonor Mother Earth, we dishonor ourselves. Think about that. When we dishonor Mother Nature, we dishonor ourselves because what did we say before? We are interconnected. We are one. And what we do to one person, what we do to one animal, what we do to our environment, we are doing that to ourselves. In the poem by Joyce Rupp, she indicates so beautifully the interconnectedness that we have with the earth. And she says, "Spring flowers preach the gospel. We who have died are alive today. We who risked winter now raise our heads high to the glorious sun. Delicate petals, daughters of resilience, they call to me, encouraging the heart of true believing." The divine energy that created this planet that we call Earth did so such that every inhabitant has a particular purpose. The smallest insect, the largest mammal, and everything in between has a particular purpose. The cycle of life is ongoing. And some creatures, some species of life only live for a few seconds. And other species have inhabited our world for billions of years. And we as human beings come somewhere in between. We as Homo sapiens come somewhere in between. A mere few 100,000 years have Homo sapiens inhabited this earth. And so as relatively new kids on the block, it is our responsibility to get to know the neighborhood, to get to know our neighbors, to speak nice to our neighbors, to say, "Tell me, how do these things work?" As relatively new kids on the block, that is what our responsibility is. Rather than to barge into the neighborhood and say, "I want to change this. This isn't working quite right for me." As new kids on the block, we are here to make friends. We are here to love and to be loved. Unfortunately, some of us are not as neighborly as others. And so, unfortunately, some of us have upset the delicate balance in our ecosystems, which is one of the reasons that it is so important for us to truly remember our sacred responsibilities. It is important for us to understand that there is a sacred reciprocity, meaning that there is a deep and natural cycle in nature, interconnected with all of our lives, and the understanding that when we work to heal our lives, we are working to heal all of the earth. we are working to heal all of the earth. When we heal our lives. I share this photo because it reminds me of when I was a little girl and I would lie on the grass and the clover next to my house in Texas. Yes, I'm from East Texas. I was born and raised in East Texas, Longview, Texas. And I would love that to lie under the sycamore tree, which was right outside my bedroom window. And I would lie there in the grass and in the clover, which seemed like hours, until my mother would call me in. Jacqueline Janelle, come on in. I would love to do that and look up in the sky and see the clouds floating by. And I would also love those day trips that we would go on in the summer, which were our family vacations. And Daddy would drive the car around Texas, and we would see the beautiful bluebonnets, which was my favorite flower at the time. Or we would drive through Arkansas, and I was absolutely mesmerized by those glistening rocks of Arkansas. I thought that was gold. But that is just an example of the beauty of our environment and the impact that it can have on our lives. And so the earth is here for our pleasure, and it is also here if we continue to take care of it. Or in some instances, if we begin to take care of it. Rachel Carson, a noted conservationist and biologist, said, "In nature, nothing exists alone." And that is so true. In nature, nothing exists alone. And as you know, a few days ago on April 22nd, we had Earth Day. Well, Rachel Carson was one of the people who, quite frankly, brought attention to what was going on in our environment, and she was probably one of the forerunners of Earth Day. So April 22nd was Earth Day, and our daily word had the most wonderful devotional, I thought. And so I'm sharing it again with us this morning just to remember what we in unity are saying about the earth. I honor and celebrate the seas, the skies, the sands, along with the plants and animals. Committed to caring for the earth, I not only continue my prayers for my environment, but I take wise actions today that allow my earth blessings to travel ahead into future generations. That is our responsibility, to care for the earth so that future generations will indeed have an earth. I know that how I treat the earth makes a difference. And I do my part by caring for and respecting creatures great and small. Just by recycling, we can do our part. 12 years ago, I started driving a hybrid car because I was so concerned about the carbon footprint. And so not everyone can do that, but we can all do something. We can all do something. And so, when we do something, we are practicing our fifth principle in caring for the earth. I don't know if you have an Earth Care Ministry team, but it is a wonderful opportunity to get involved with other churches and ministries in caring for the earth. Ron Haben, one of the co-creators in 2008 of Unity's Earth Care Ministry team, said, "As our soul's wisdom informs our actions, we in Unity are participating as we are led to nurture all life forms on this beautiful blue planet." And so, let us nurture our earth. That is what today is all about, punctuating our responsibility. And so I end with a poem that I wrote to speak to the interconnectedness that we have with Mother Earth. And it goes like this. She is with us always, guiding gently, lovingly, gracefully. She is sure in her steps, ever confident in her movements, ever attuned to her duty as nurturer, exemplar of light and love. She supports in ways that speak to her wisdom. She leads from her sense of righteousness. Her aura of sacredness touches, transforms, sweet scent of magnolia, soft beauty of cherry blossoms, lush, abundant yellows of the forsythia, intoxicating fragrance of richly colored hyacinths, your divine mother. My divine mother touches, transforms, transcends, flora, fauna, fowl alike, human, crustacean, one-celled, many-celled, all family in this magnificent universe, all honor and cherish her today. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.